everyone, and welcome as always to Straight Up. We are the pop culture podcast with no filter, hosted by besties and London-based journalists Kathleen Johnston and Ellie Halls.
Hi everyone, hi Kathleen.
Hello Els, how are you doing?
I'm good, excited to get into this today.
I know, I'm loving our little compilation best of episodes.
I know, we've done best film.
We've done best films, we're going to be doing best books next week. So today it's all about TV.
The best TV shows of the year, the top 10 TV shows of the year.
Yes.
And we have reviewed many.
We really have. And actually, we've been a bit sniffy about TV over the year. Like, we were complaining that everything felt a bit mid. But in hindsight, there's been some really good stuff.
Yeah, there has. But I will say, and we'll kind of categorize them accordingly, but there's a lot of really good returning TV shows.
Yes, there is. Lots of good seasons of already existing shows. But we've decided, haven't we, that while we will talk about them, things like Severance... What else?
White Lotus.
Oh, White Lotus. We are going to talk in our top 10 primarily about new shows.
New shows. And what we've done in terms of the list, we haven't ranked them. They're just the top 10.
Yeah. Ranking's just too hard, guys. We can't do that.
We'd have a fight. But basically, it's the podcast top 10. It's like an amalgamation of both you and I's favourite ones.
Yes. And we've both seen all of them.
100%.
Top 10. So... you know, we're in agreement, guys. Don't worry.
I think in our weekly episodes, we probably reviewed at least one or two TV shows each week.
Yeah. So what's that over the year? I mean, at least 50 TV shows.
Oh,
surely.
At least. Because how many weeks in a year?
52.
Okay. So at least 52.
Yeah.
So would you say, Kathers, we're experts?
I would say we are TV experts at this point.
We are armchair critics.
Yeah.
Okay. So should we just get on in it?
Should we do it? Do we have anything to say about the general trends of the year before we talk about our faves? I noticed doing a bit of research this morning that the top shows on Netflix, they were Adolescence, Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesdays, yes.
Stranger Things, weren't they? They were like the top stream shows on Netflix for the year.
Yes.
Oh, and Squid Game.
Oh, and Squid
Games. Although that was a season 2, again.
That was a season 2. And actually, Squid Game was one of Google's most searched shows of the year, as was Monster, the Ed Gein story.
God, I didn't watch that.
It was too much. I couldn't watch it.
And you know I like a Netflix crime
thriller.
But didn't watch that one.
It just felt too sordid.
Yeah.
And then Adolescence, obviously, Severance, and The Summer I Turned Pretty.
Summer I Turned Pretty, don't get me wrong, it's a fun watch, but I don't know if I quite got the hype. Don't hate me, honeys, but I think I just didn't plough on enough.
No.
I think I gave up before the end of the series with them actually getting together in Paris. Sorry if that's a spoiler, but I think everyone who cares has already seen it by now, haven't they? Although I do love a crappy show. I have seen, though, that the new series of Emily in Paris is getting, like, the worst of the worst reviews. And you know that was a bit of a guilty pleasure for me.
Oh my God, I started watching Champagne Problems, the new film on Netflix.
I started watching that last night.
Don't you think it's literally like Netflix, like, okay, how do we recreate the success of My Oxford Year?
Yes, and Emily in Paris.
With a dash of Emily in Paris. It's like the amalgamated.
It's
like
the same as every other show or film like that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like,
and even at the beginning when she's like, I just want someone to, you know, help me like tick off my list of things to do in Paris.
Yes.
And it's like, that's literally what happens in My Oxford Year with Oxford.
Woman meets charming European man. Man is in fact son of very successful and wealthy businessman. They have a mistaken case of identity.
Yeah. Man helps her find her footing in a new city.
Yeah, I don't know. I did find it quite fun though, because I went once on a press trip to Champagne, the region.
What, for GQ?
Yeah, and it was quite like that.
Was it?
There was lots of walking around in cellars.
Yes. Anyway.
We're on a champagne tangent.
So, Kath, despite the year of AI slop and TV shows literally created for second screening, there were some gems and Champagne Problems. What shall we start with? So the best psychological thriller of 2025 has got to be The Beast in Me, Kath.
It's got to. I loved that show.
Oh, so good. And so great to see Claire Danes doing something other than 8 seasons of Homeland.
Yeah, she was brilliant, wasn't she? And Matthew Rhys, the Welsh actor.
Yes, Matthew Rhys. So a recap of the plot for anyone who has yet to see it or just needs a little bit of reminding. Claire Danes plays Aggie Wiggs, who is a Pulitzer-winning author who is kind of living as a recluse in her beautiful house in New York, recovering from the collapse of her marriage and death of her son from a few years ago. She's desperately trying to write her next book, but she's got writer's block until billionaire kind of property tycoon Niall Jarvis moves in as her new neighbour, and she becomes instantly fascinated and terrified of him in equal measure, they kind of develop this very strange like cat and mouse relationship, and she realizes that actually he could be the perfect subject of her new book and rip up her last one and just write a biography of Niall Jarvis instead. Everyone is fascinated by him in the press because he is known to have been involved in the very murky disappearance of his former wife.
Yes, and the thing that really freaks her out is that after they go to lunch and she tells him about the guy who run over her son. Her son had died in a tragic accident. This guy mysteriously goes missing and she thinks Niall Jarvis took him out.
Exactly. Yeah. And lots of people think he killed his wife. So as she gets kind of ensconced in writing this biography of Niall Jarvis, they develop this kind of psychological duel together, right? Like they're both kind of trying...
Psychological duel, I love
it. They're both trying to get something out of each other, and it all goes very wrong and very dangerous. And I won't say too much more, but I would say every episode ends on a cliffhanger, right?
Yeah, it's one of those shows you just can't stop watching. I think, is it 6 episodes, 8 episodes? I devoured it over the course of like 2 nights, and I was really sad when it was over.
It's completely addictive, and also the ending is chilling.
But yes, good ending.
And it wasn't just us who loved it. It got such good reviews, didn't it, from all the main newspapers. However, I will say that some of my favourite TikTok content from the year has been kind of making fun of Claire Danes' performance. Do you remember in our review a few months ago when we first reviewed on the podcast, I was like, Claire Danes' trembling chin is like gone too far. Like,
it was distracting for you.
Yeah, she was a little bit, she was overacting a little bit. And now there are all these TikToks of like Claire Danes booking a dentist appointment. She's like, what do you mean Tuesday's not available? And like her chin's like trembling like mad, and she's like pulling her hair back like, and she's like walking in a wood, like losing her mind.
Oh, she is great though. I really I thought she was really strong as that character. It was kind of giving Carrie from Homeland though as well, wasn't it?
Yes. I have to say, in terms of who was the best, I thought Niall Jarvis. Yeah. Matthew Rhys, it was he stole the show.
He stole the show.
He had a darkness in his eyes. I'm like, are you a monster in real life?
Yeah.
So, Beast and Me, I think, Kath, if we were to rank them, I know we're not ranking them, but I think that would be
a theoretical rank.
It may be in our top 3.
Yeah, probably is, you know. As you said, it's definitely the top psychological thriller.
Yeah, beats The Girlfriend, even though The Girlfriend's in the top 10.
It is, yes.
It's at the bottom of the top 10.
Yeah.
Okay, Kath, next, what are we adding?
Pluribus was our favourite show of 2025, wasn't it?
That is, without a doubt, number 1.
We are loving Pluribus. It's the Apple show. It's like a post-apocalyptic sci-fi. It's by the Breaking Bad creator, Vince Gilligan. And the most miserable person on earth has to essentially save the world from happiness. So it stars Rhea Seehorn, who was in Better Call Saul. And here she's playing a middle-aged best-selling writer of romantasy novels, Carol, who is super rich and like adored by all of her fans, but she is this massive misanthrope. So kind of the perfect main character for this show. This virus takes over the world where everyone is incredibly happy and peaceful. Everyone's consciousness has become one. People are so like unviolent that they won't even kill animals for meat. However, she is not buying it. She's one of only 12 people worldwide that's immune from the virus. The other people are cool with this situation. They either want to be like cured so that they can join this oneness, or they're just making the most of being able to live this like amazing life where the world revolves around them and they can live in 5-star hotels and have yes men all around them. Carol though, and this other guy who lives in Paraguay, they're not buying it. They are really suspicious of all like the kind of aliens. Would you call them aliens? I guess you would. It's something that's come from space basically, isn't it? That's how this virus has taken over the world. And they basically have to go on this like journey to try and figure it all out and reverse the situation.
What I particularly loved about it, being such a Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad fan, is I felt like aesthetically they were so similar because they're all shot in New Mexico.
Yes, Albuquerque.
Yeah.
All of Vince Gilligan's shows are set there and they all have like a real similarity, don't they? She has a gorgeous house. Not that that's, gorgeous, the point of it. But
I mean, property porn dominates this entire list, doesn't it?
I know. We just love a bit of property porn. We can't resist. We're suckers for it. But yeah, Pluribus, I think, just 5 stars. Can't go wrong. It's funny. It's kind of dystopian. There's like deep themes. You know, you're kind of prompted to think, would it actually be better if everyone was really happy and everyone felt the same about everything? Or would that actually be terrible?
Yeah, I read, or I think heard Vince Gilligan on Radio 4 or something talking about one of his inspirations was because he is kind of a naturally miserable person. And he was like, even though I have such a nice life.
Oh, is he? That's funny.
Yeah, and he was like, just chemically my brain is just wired to be kind of
He's
miserable.
a pessimist.
Yeah.
He's a cup half empty kind of guy.
So he's always been intrigued by why that is and how it could possibly change. And I've always found that interesting as a concept. Also, despite it getting 5-star raves from all the critics, kind of in terms of my personal friendship group, or like my family, it's been really divisive.
Really?
Yeah, because me and you both see it as a comedy, whereas when I showed it to my parents who loved Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, they watched one episode and they were like, this is deeply disturbing. It's not funny.
I can't believe that. It's funny. It's so lighthearted, kind of. There are some dark bits, but generally I would say tonally, it's fun.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. And the alien virus it's not scary.
No, they're peace loving. Do you know what? I can kind of see just from episode 1, because again, this isn't a spoiler, guys, but in episode 1, you see this virus take over the world, and there is like a knock-on impact where loads of people die, and the people that don't die but get, I suppose, infected do become a bit zombie-ish at first. So it's giving zombie right at the beginning.
But then they really sort themselves out.
Yeah.
And then everyone's kind of normal.
Then they're all just like Buddhists.
Actually, it really reminded me of The Good Place in many ways.
Yes, it is a bit like The Good Place, isn't it?
Just like slightly surreal, but always gorgeous. And aesthetically, I suppose, as well, just so bright. Okay, Kath, I want to talk about Sirens now.
Yes, Julianne Moore. We loved Sirens.
So I don't get why people hated Sirens. It was so divisive, but I thought it was one of Netflix's best shows.
Yeah, we loved it.
So it's set in a gorgeous estate in New England. Again, oh my God, the property porn is divine. Probably the best property porn of the year, to be honest.
Yeah, it reminded me of The Perfect Couple, which was actually 2024, wasn't it, with Nicole Kidman? But it's that like New Englandy, by the water.
Yeah, that coastal bliss. And Julianne Moore, in one of her best roles, honestly, plays socialite Michaela, living with her billionaire husband, Peter, with Kevin Bacon popping out of an ad in retirement. Bacon. I mean, what does he do most of the day? When foster kid Simone, played by Millie Alcock, becomes Michaela's personal assistant, she completely changes her personality to become essentially a mini Michaela. When Simone's chaotic older sister Devon, played by our fave Megan Fahey from the White Lotus, of course, comes to try and take Simone back home, she realises that Michaela is very much a kind of sinister cult leader and Simone is kind of deep, like brainwash.
It's eerie, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like an unsettlingness. That's why it did remind me of White Lotus as well, not just because of Megan Fahey and the property porn, but you don't quite know where you stand with it a lot of the time.
Yeah, you actually can't tell who the real villain is.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Julianne Moore does so well, is that actually as the show goes on, your feelings towards her change so much. So you got 5 stars from The Guardian, who called it an endlessly entertaining, preposterously fun thriller.
Yes.
And I think that's
very apt.
That's
preposterously fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You won't be gaining any new brain cells watching
No.
it. But it was really good. And I don't know why people didn't like it. Maybe they just thought it was too formulaic.
I guess I do understand why people felt that they'd seen it before.
So I think maybe that's like number, 8 or 9.
Oh, we are going in with a ranking then. You've decided.
Can't help I love a ranking.
You do. You love to like crunch the numbers.
I do like crunching numbers when it comes to TV shows.
As you all know, we have 2 slightly different rating systems here at Straight Up. Ellie likes a star rating out of 5. I favour a score out of 10 / percentage.
Yes.
I'm on the Rotten Tomatoes kind of vibe.
I think having worked at a newspaper for 7 years where we do 5-star ratings.
That's just the track you're on.
I can't do anything other than that now.
Well, I am coming round to your ways. I feel like now I've just started automatically thinking of something in stars.
Oh, good.
So don't you worry.
Come to the dark side.
Yeah.
Okay, babe. What's up next?
What is up next? So, shall we talk about Film Club, the Amy Lou Wood series?
Yes.
Because, I bloody loved that, as did you. It's Amy Lou Wood's series for BBC 3. She co-wrote it and she starred in it. She plays Evie, who hasn't left the house in months after a nervous breakdown. And her number one escape is like a weekly film club that she puts on for her friends in her garage. And she creates these elaborate immersive sets. She wears costumes, as do the guests. However, the main person that tends to come is her best friend, Noah.
It's so tender and cute.
So Noah's a lawyer and he has to move to Bristol for a job, and that sets Evie off a bit. There's such a good cast. I love Saran Jones in it.
Oh, she's so
as
funny.
Sue's the mum. She's very funny. And it's just a really sweet show that also does feel quite intelligent, doesn't it? Because
it's such a BBC Three show.
It's such a BBC Three show, and it's also a show for film lovers, and not in a pretentious way, but just references to iconic films, from Forrest Gump to Alien to The Wizard of Oz to Bridesmaids, your fave.
Yes. Oh my God, I actually rewatched that again. For
Bridesmaids.
My 900th time, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Last week. It was so good. Although it does get slightly less funny with every rewatch.
Yeah, it's not one that I would want to consistently rewatch. I enjoyed it. I've probably seen it, 4 or 5 times in my life, but I wouldn't choose to put it on.
Yeah. We were showing it to my sister's boyfriend for the first time.
Fair enough.
So it had to be done. Anyway, back to Film Club. I just love that Amy Lou Wood is just going for something so quirky.
I know, it is quirky, isn't it?
Yeah, like she hasn't gone for something that's going to become like a blockbuster show. She's much more considered and thoughtful than that.
Yeah, it's got indie vibes.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. And it's kind of about being neurodivergent. She said that, didn't she, in a Radio Times interview since, that she didn't realise it at the time, but she was obviously kind of working out being ADHD, which she's since been diagnosed with, maybe autistic, because the main character clearly kind of struggles, and she was in a subconscious way using the show to like figure herself out.
As 2 neurodivergent besties,
we thoroughly appreciated it.
Related to that.
I also quite liked Owen Cooper in it from Adolescence.
Yes.
He's like her little friend from the neighbourhood, who at first is not her friend because she'll give him money to go and get her something from the shop, and he kind of takes the piss out of her and maybe won't necessarily give her change, but he actually becomes quite a sweet sounding board for her, doesn't he?
Oh, he's so good.
Nabwan Rizwan I love as well. He's obviously in Chaos, which we loved, the show with Jeff Goldblum, the kind of like Greek tragedy reimagining, or ancient Greek myth it was,
yes.
Which didn't get renewed for season 2. Very sad. That was one of my shows of 2024.
Yes, yeah, you absolutely loved that. I was kind of more lukewarm, but I saw why you liked it. You've just said Owen Cooper, which is like suddenly made me feel really anxious, because I've just realised that is Pluribus our number one, because of course Owen Cooper was in Adolescence.
God, they're different shows, aren't they? Let's talk about Adolescence, because it has been a cultural phenomenon. It was amazing. Like, it is deserving of all the awards. Stephen Graham is just a genius. Erin Doherty's amazing in it.
So
obviously,
good.
Owen Cooper is beyond incredible, and it was his first ever acting role, so props to Owen. But it's obviously a much darker and depressing watch than Pluribus.
But it really was one of the few TV shows that kind of, it made its way into Parliament. It's like talked about in schools. Like, it really did move the needle on culture.
And I feel like literally everyone watched it.
So for anyone who didn't watch it, Adolescence is a 4-part British crime drama which opens with the kind of immediate aftermath of a schoolgirl's murder by 13-year-old Jamie Miller, played by Owen Cooper. The show is therefore like a whodunit rather than a whodunit, because each of the 4 episodes tries to understand his motives through different vantage points. And what's really special about the show is each episode is shot with one take. And the show is basically very much delving into the manosphere, how young boys are being radicalised online. And that's why it became such a big talking point in schools and in Parliament, because we've had this massive, as everyone knows, rise of the manosphere and online radicalisation. It's co-written by Jack Thorne and Stephen Graham. Stephen Graham said he actually thought of the show when he read an article about a young boy who'd stabbed a young girl to death, and it made me feel cold, he told Radio X's Chris Moores. And so he then brought in Jack Thorne, who's like a very celebrated, experienced screenwriter, and they kind of did a co-pro together. As you said, Erin Doherty is incredible. I think she is actually the standout in the show. She plays a clinical psychologist, Bryony, who has to kind of try and talk to Jamie and figure out why he's done what he's done.
Yeah, the whole episode is shot literally in one room, isn't it? It's like a police interrogation room where she's interviewing him.
That's the best episode, isn't it?
Chilling.
So as you said earlier, it won loads of awards. It was nominated for 13 Emmys and won 8 of them, including Outstanding Limited or Anthology Series. So, speaks for itself, really. And Jack Thorne spoke to Prime Minister Keir Starmer at Downing Street about the issues raised in the show.
I've got another Jack Thorne show for everyone.
Do you?
That made our top 10. Toxic Town is by Jack Thorne. Yeah.
That was really good. He is so prolific.
He really is, isn't he? Maybe he has a deal with Netflix or something, because Toxic Town was with Netflix as well. But Toxic Town also stars Amy Lou Wood as well, so quite a bit of crossover here. It is a bit depressing, but excellent TV nonetheless, isn't it? It's a mini-series. It came out in February, and it's based on a true story. It follows the story of 3 mothers in the Kirby toxic waste case scandal. So basically, dozens of babies were born in the former steel manufacturing town Corby with disabilities. So their mothers embarked on a battle to hold those responsible to account. So basically, the council dug up the ground that the former steel plant was on for a different project, and the contaminated soil was moved and dumped on a separate site, which essentially poisoned people. Jodie Whittaker is one of the mums alongside Amy Lou Wood, and I just thought it was done really well. It's not going to be something that's going to have a season 2. It was just a great bit of TV.
You're right. And it wasn't one where, you know, you want to binge it all at once, but you just thought, wow, the quality of the acting and the script is just so brilliant. And I think particularly when we're inundated with mid-TV, it just really stood out.
Well executed.
Well executed. Okay, babe, next, let's talk about The Girlfriend.
Okay, yeah, that is a bit of a gear shift, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's more of a guilty pleasure.
It was a guilty pleasure, but dare I say, Robin Wright's best work in years.
Yes, Robin Wright was in House of Cards, wasn't she?
Yes. Okay, maybe not as good as House of Cards, but...
Do you know, I'm ashamed to say, I don't think I watched House of Cards.
I watched the first 2 seasons and then I dropped off, and now Kevin Spacey's ruined it for me. Can't get back in that. So... Olivia Cook stars as Cherry. This is also the show that more than House of Dragon really has made Olivia Cook, you know, star property.
Oh, she was so good in this. I love Olivia Cook. I think she's really fun, funny, great actor, just an all-round top talent.
Have you interviewed her? I interviewed her.
No, I haven't.
She's so nice.
Is she? I bet. I can really see that.
Yeah. So Olivia Cook stars as Cherry, a gorgeous, scheming manipulator who is desperate to leave her troubled home life and make something of herself. She's an estate agent who immediately connects with a prospective, rich but naive buyer, Daniel, and actually they get it on right there in the viewing. Do you remember? I found that very unrealistic. But they develop a relationship and all is going very well until she meets Daniel's mother, Laura, played by Robin Wright, who is kind of compulsively controlling of her son, partly as a result of the grief she's still dealing with following the death of her daughter many years ago. So the series is interesting because it's got dual perspectives. It's got Laura's and Cherry's. And in one episode, for instance, we see Cherry is just genuinely in love with Daniel, just trying to get through to Laura and get round her obsessive paranoia. But then in the other, we see that she's like genuinely quite dangerous and Laura has every right to be scared of her.
Yeah, so you don't quite know where you stand.
No, you have no idea which one is the frightening one.
Although I do remember where we stood on Daniel. Wetter.
Total wetter. Yeah. I found him infuriating. I couldn't imagine falling in love with him. Sorry, Daniel. So by the final episodes, the psychological warfare becomes outright violent, doesn't it, babe?
It does. It's a bloody end.
It's not a realistic show, is it? It really beggars belief.
It's not going to be an award winner. It's not wildly memorable, but it's a really fun, like addictive, slightly trashy watch. And there's got to be room for that.
Totally. Do you remember, though, there was a bit of a hoo-ha around the incest? And actually, there was no incest.
Oh, because there was a bit of a weird vibe, though, between Daniel and the mum, wasn't there? It was like slightly too close for comfort.
Well, I felt like the first episode really lent into that, and then it just abandoned it. And then it was like, oh no, they're just...
Because you question whether the mum, Robin Wright's character, Laura, is inappropriately like obsessed with her son, and that's why she hates the girlfriend.
Yeah. So really fun, but definitely not in the top 5 of our top 10.
No, I don't think so. It's a guilty pleasure, as I said earlier.
Okay, Kath, what have you got for us?
Okay, so I have got to include Down Cemetery Road here because I bloody loved that show. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's an Apple thriller. Maybe not quite as good as The Beast in Me, but still fab nonetheless. Maybe not quite as dark, obviously dealing with dark themes, but it stars Emma Thompson as a private investigator's wife. So the setup is that in a little sleepy part of Oxford, there's an explosion, a house explosion, which is passed off as a gas explosion, but Ruth Wilson's character, Sarah, suspects it's something more. She becomes obsessed with a little girl who was in hospital and then has gone missing post the explosion. diner, and she goes to see a private investigator to try and help her unravel what she sees as this mystery. That private investigator's wife is Zoe, played by Emma Thompson. Emma Thompson is a very different character to her usual roles here. She's got this like punky, spiky hair. She wears Doc Martens, heavy black eyeliner. It's really like fun to see Emma Thompson doing a role like this, something a bit edgier. And basically the two of them embark on this journey to figure out what the hell has happened. It's like a government cover-up of the highest order.
I really want to see that, because I think you mentioned when we reviewed it on the show a few months ago that it's from the guy who did Slow Horses.
It is indeed. So it was based on the debut novel of Mick Herron's, who's the guy behind Slow Horses. And it's also exec produced by the Slow Horses team. So it's definitely got a very similar vibe. As I say, government cover-ups and institutional corruption are a big part of the story, and it kind of could be bad. It's one of those shows, if it hadn't been executed in the way that it has, it would be another trashy one, but it's done well. It's funny, even though it's quite serious at the same time, and it's just a really good watch. Like, I ripped through all 9 episodes. I was really sad when it finished a couple of weeks ago. I don't think there'll be a season 2 again. I mean, you say this, but I suppose they can always find like another mystery to unravel.
Let's normalise wrapping things up after season 1.
Yeah. I think Ruth Wilson is really good in it. She's in lots of things, isn't she? So,
she's so good.
She was in The Affair, Luther. Everyone would recognise her. Also, Adil Akhtar is in it. He's fab, the British actor who, I'm sure I said this at the time when we reviewed it, but you would recognise from Utopia, which is just one of the best shows ever.
I've never seen Utopia.
Channel 4, iconic show. They ended on such a huge cliffhanger, and then it didn't get renewed for another season. So it was like really unsatisfying at the end, but it is beloved. One of the best British series.
Oh, I've never seen that. I need to add it to my list.
Yeah, you'd like it. And so he's in this as a kind of hapless government dog's body, and he's very good. All the acting's great. I just think you can't not really enjoy it. I don't know anyone who's watched it that I've spoken to that hasn't said they also think it's very good.
I mean, you're in safe hands if it's the executive team behind Slow Horses.
Exactly, with Emma Thompson, Ruth Wilson.
Can't go wrong. Yeah. Okay, really excited to watch that in the new year, babe.
I think it got 5-star reviews pretty much all round.
So I now want to talk about What It Feels Like for a Girl on BBC 3.
Incredible show.
Just so unique. It is a coming-of-age drama, and it's set in the early 2000s, Hucknall, Nottinghamshire, and it's a semi-autobiographical drama adapted from Paris Lee's brilliant memoir of the same name. It follows 15-year-old Byron, a gender non-conforming child, living with their macho dad, Steve. Byron then meets someone who introduces them into sex work, which they find obviously dangerous and exploitative, but also paradoxically exciting because it's the first time that they've felt desire and a sense of power that other people desire them. So the show is obviously dealing with quite serious things such as grooming, exploitation, violence, class, but there's also friendship. And even though it's dark, it's funny almost every 10 minutes because the character Byron is a very silly, quirky, hilarious person, aren't they?
Yeah, they are really funny.
Yeah, and I think what I loved so much about it was I thought it was just doing something so different, from the music to the storyline. Like, everything just felt so fresh.
It did feel very fresh. You loved the club scenes, didn't you?
I loved the club scenes.
Because we always talk about how nightclub scenes are really hard to execute. They can usually just be really embarrassing and feel not very realistic. These ones, they were fab.
Yeah, and there was so much nuance, you know. I think particularly with Byron's character, they are very unlikable at times, and the show isn't afraid to go there to show that actually, like, they do some pretty awful things to the people around them sometimes.
And it did generally get really good reviews, didn't it?
Really good reviews, but I don't think it had a mainstream audience. I mean, I guess BBC 3 never really does, but I felt like it was kind of slept on. Like, I think it's kind of underrated.
Yeah, I can see it winning awards. Wouldn't be surprised if there was some BAFTAs.
It's a bit like Film Club, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of critically acclaimed, brilliant craftsmanship and, you know, artistically incredible, but just not mainstream.
I mean, it was spoken about in places like Vogue, wasn't it? Because Paris Lees, I think, used to be a columnist there. Paris Lees is a big name, but I feel like, maybe like it didn't seem to attract a mainstream audience as much.
I just don't know anyone else who watched it from
Apart
my
from
friends.
you and I.
Yeah, but you should. Anyone watching this, you've got to add it to your watch list. So, honey, I think we've reached our final one, haven't we?
We have indeed, and we wanted to include Overcompensating.
Oh, so good.
Because we loved that show. We thought it was very fun. It's definitely gotten renewed, I think, for a second season.
It has.
I'm not going mad.
Yeah.
So it's Benito Skinner's comedy for Prime. Prime hasn't necessarily been the best. I think the only other Prime show we've talked about is The Girlfriend.
Yeah.
But this was an exception. So it follows Benny, who's a closeted former high school football star and homecoming king from Idaho, as he begins his freshman year at a fictional university called Yates. To conceal his sexuality, Benny adopts a hyper-masculine persona mirroring the behaviours of his sister's jock boyfriend Peter, who's Adam DeMarco from The White Lotus.
Yeah.
We're always referencing the White Lotus cast, aren't we? So on campus, Benny befriends Carmen, who's a fellow freshman from New Jersey, who is an outsider in high school. And the series is just about their friendship, basically, isn't it? It's really sweet. It's kind of life-affirming, heartwarming, all those things. And I just loved it. So did you?
I loved it. It's quite graphic, actually.
Was it quite graphic?
Yeah.
God, I can't remember. But Benito Skinner, he's well known. He's a comedian who became internet famous in the pandemic for his unhinged impressions of celebrities. If you remember, he did Kris Jenner, Billie Eilish, Timothy Chalamet. So he's fab. And I think he really proved that he could do full proper length TV.
I loved that show so much. I was so pleased it was renewed. And actually, I think it's kind of the only show on the list that's just proper comedy, right?
Yes, is it? I suppose Pluribus, but as you said, some people find that dark.
Whereas Overcompensating is
this is sugary in the best way.
It's if you've had a bad day at work and you just want a big hug,
it's going to cheer you up.
It's that.
There was a Charlie XCX cameo. Do you remember?
That was great.
Do you know as well, talking of our different metrics for judging a show, it holds a 95% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
That is very high.
High, isn't it? Yeah. So
really
it's not just us, again. Generally loved by audiences. I'm pretty sure it did well critically.
I think it
did.
Yeah.
So all in all, if you haven't seen it, make sure you watch. You won't regret it.
I think people thought it was essentially a better version of Adults. Did you ever watch that?
Yes, I did watch Adults, and I meant to talk about it on the show and never did. I didn't think Adults was that bad. It got a lot of flack, and I thought it was quite fun. It was a Gen Z Friends, that's how it got billed.
Oh, okay.
So it was about some friends living in a flat share, and okay, it wasn't, top tier TV, but there were some funny bits. I remember laughing at it a couple of times at least.
Yeah, I was put off by the bad reviews.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it was one of those shows as well. I'm sure we referenced a piece in The Ankler a couple months ago. They had a very Gen Z focused marketing campaign for the series, where they basically did loads of cut-ups and spread them all over social media, and it just didn't get Gen Z watching. So it was kind of considered a flop in that regard. But as we know, Gen Z ain't watching TV.
They're watching YouTube. I know that's kind of the main TV trend of 2025 is that they're all watching YouTube instead.
Yeah.
So that's our top 10 on original new shows. I personally did actually want to put Apple Cider Vinegar in there, but you were like, no way.
Oh, I vetoed. Sorry. I just found it depressing.
I thought it was so good. The Catherine Diva playing the real life Belle Gibson who pretended she had cancer.
Australian scammer.
Yeah.
I mean, we love a scammer series.
We do love a scammer series.
Yeah, I just found Apple Cider Vinegar to be really sad.
It was sad. It was sad.
Okay, so in terms of returning series, shall we talk about some of our faves? Because there was a lot of good stuff. Firstly, we've got to say how much we love Platonic with Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne.
I'm addicted to Platonic. It honestly
love it.
Boosted my serotonin every Wednesday night after work.
Yeah, I think that's probably my favourite comedy from this year, if we're not talking specifically about new shows.
And it's been renewed for season 3.
Yay!
Do you remember I sent you the article immediately being like, thank God we've got something to live for in 2026.
God, there is something to help get us through the week. It dropped on Wednesdays, I think, didn't it?
Did.
So it's another Apple show, actually.
Apple TV has been doing a lot.
It has. I was saying that the other day, wasn't I? Apple have really stepped up their game this year.
A close tie with Platonic for me was Big Boy season 2.
Oh, you bloody love Big Boys, don't you?
Yeah, the Channel 4 drama.
I need to get on that. I'm sorry, I still haven't done it.
So good. It might even be pipping Platonic to the post, actually. I'm just obsessed with that show. It's ended now, but the most heartwarming, beautiful show.
Ended for good, so there was only 2 seasons and that's it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I do think you loved Amandaland, though. We both loved Amandaland,
yes!
Surely. That's got to have a special mention.
And she's coming back.
It's going to be a Christmas special. Yeah. In fact, that will be on in a mere couple of days from now.
So excited.
We'll have to report back on that.
What have been your favourite returning shows?
Well, talking of how Fab Apple's been doing, I obviously loved Severance.
Yes.
I did prefer season 1. I'm going to be completely honest. Severance is the Ben Stiller directed show about a workplace where basically when you go into work, you have a separate self. So they've had some kind of procedure where your memories of your home self and your work self are completely separate and you can't remember anything about the other self when you're in either your home or work environment. And it had a great cast. Gwendolyn Christie is in season 2. But I did feel it was a little bit more slow moving.
I couldn't tell with Severance, because I've not actually watched it yet, whether it was a bit like Succession, one of those shows that just every journalist across America and the UK loved, or whether it genuinely had a mass audience.
I know what you mean, but no, I think it did have a massive audience because lots of the Huns have recommended it to us. People at my work thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, it's one of those shows I've heard lots of people talking about.
I need to watch it. I just couldn't deal with looking down that really long corridor.
Yeah, being stuck in a kind of corporate hell maze.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what? We have got to mention, because it's now come up several times in this episode, the White Lotus.
Yes, although...
How great was that?
Was my least favourite of all the seasons.
Oh, really? No, for me, it was up there with the best ones. Obviously, season 1, I think the Hawaii one, maybe it's the best.
Yeah.
But Sicily was my least favourite.
Really?
Yes, I absolutely loved Thailand. I thought it was so beautiful. Loved Amy Lou Woods and Morta Goggins. Stunning.
I think I just found it slightly less realistic. I mean, obviously it's all ridiculous. But also I love Tom Hollander in the Sicily one.
Oh, yes, that's true. And what's his name?
Leo Woodall.
Leo Woodall, that's it.
What's happened to Leo Woodall?
He's been in a few things, because on our worst shows, we absolutely agreed on the fact that his Prime Target show about the mathematician was just objectively not good, was it?
We watched 2 episodes and then just had to just bin it.
And it wasn't just us. The reviews pretty much echoed the sentiment of it being crap.
Abysmal.
What else did we not enjoy? What's on our shit list?
Well, Atomic.
Yes, Atomic was quite bad, wasn't it? All's Fair, the Kim K show, which has been
Fair.
renewed for season 2, but maybe good for a hate watch. Do you know what? I said I was going to watch some more of that after we reviewed it, after the first 2 episodes dropped, and I haven't yet, but that is something that I might do with a lazy Sunday.
I wonder if that ship has sailed for you, because you've been saying that to me now on an almost weekly basis.
I have, you're right.
And you haven't quite got round to it.
I just want to know what's going on with her IVF situation.
Yes, I want to know that, but we could just Google it.
Alora, Kim K's character.
Just Google it?
That's true, I could just literally read the Wikipedia page.
I think Running Point with Kate Hudson and Chet Hanks.
Oh, that was bad, where she's the head of
terrible.
the basketball team?
Yes.
Yeah, that was bad.
It was like trying to recreate Ted Lasso.
Wanted to love it. Love Kate Hudson. Hated it.
And then Daddy Issues, also starring Amy Lee Wood. I'm sorry to say, I thought it was so bad.
Oh, I didn't watch that, but some of the listeners have recommended it, so...
Oh, yes.
I'm on the fence.
Sorry, honeys, but I watched the first couple of episodes, and basically, I think it's another BBC, or is it Channel 4? But Amy Lee Wood plays a woman who is dealing with an unexpected pregnancy whilst essentially having no money and nowhere to live, so has to move in with her dad, who is like completely incompetent. And it's Amy Lee Wood is really good, but the dad is so absurdly gross and ridiculously puerile that I was like, I can't watch this like man baby a second longer. Like, it was giving me such
Okay, that is fair enough. What else did we hate? You deeply hated The Assassin. We've talked about that a lot.
The Keeley Horse.
Your hatred of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I obviously also hated it. Maybe a more controversial one. Neither of us particularly liked Nobody Wants This.
No, we didn't like the first season, and the second season was even worse.
But do you know what? I say controversial. I think it was genuinely loved for the first season. People have been pretty disappointed with the second. Lots of the Huns have got in touch to say they also were on our page with that.
Yeah, it was just like a rehash of the first. Like, it's just going around in circles, isn't it? There's no fresh plots. And then what else? With Love, Megan.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much
Sorry,
to say
Megs.
there, is there?
It just was insufferably dull, wasn't it, that show?
So
Her homemaking
dull.
show.
I can't believe it got renewed.
I mean, I can, because, you know, it's Meghan, and I'm sure people are always going to watch something with her in it. She's just too much of a big name pull. Also, didn't Netflix have like a special deal with her and Harry? They're probably trying to get their money's worth, like a multi-million-pound deal.
Yeah, maybe. That's true.
But my big issue with it was just that it was set in a show home. I totally get that there are security issues, privacy issues, understand why Prince Harry and Meghan's actual house can't be on there. But seeing her like play house in this fake set of a home just felt so inauthentic.
So inauthentic. And part of the reason you watch those shows is because you want to see inside the person's
it's
house.
the nosiness aspect.
Was it even their dog?
It was their dog.
Oh, it was their dog.
It was their dog. Oh, what's his name again? He's cute, the old boy.
Yeah. And none of the friendships felt real either.
No, they felt really forced.
Deeply. Yeah.
Although, do you know what? I'm hating on Meghan, but I do like a homemaking show. And I can't think of a good one from this year.
No.
I know that actually it's not really your kind of thing, is it? I say homemaking show. I'm deeply not interested in watching someone like make candles, but I like a cooking show.
Yeah.
The only things I've watched on the cooking show front this year, I think, are Jamie's.
I think I always watch Chelsea from Selling Sunsets cooking videos on Instagram.
Ooh. Yeah, maybe that's it. The cooking Insta and TikTok has overtaken the proper TV format.
I think so, which really just sums up the whole TV landscape, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh God, I think I've got sucked into a few of Brooklyn Breckham's Instagram cooking stuff this year as well. He made a really good fried chicken sandwich recently.
I was very upset to see him make a beef Wellington and then use Bisto gravy. There's nothing wrong with Bisto. I like a bit of Bisto. But if you're trying to be a gourmet chef and you're making this like beautiful beef Wellington, why would you do Bisto granules at the end? I think that must have been a bit of rage baiting.
Yeah. Also, if you're going to go to the effort of a beef Wellington, what's another 20 minutes on
That's what I mean. It's like such an extra dish to be making. Also, Gordon Ramsay had commented on it, like, that looks great. Well done, lad. And I felt like that was quite insincere because if anyone else put Bisto on their beef Wellington, Gordon would be fumers. But he's a family friend.
Yeah. God, we can't end the episode on Brooklyn Beckham, can we?
No, we can't. Do you know what show I haven't mentioned very quickly? Do you remember we liked My Friends and Neighbours, Your Friends and Neighbours, even with old, what's his name? John Hamm. We liked that. We also liked Four Seasons with Tina Fey and Coleman Domingo.
The Rehearsal is something I really want to watch because everyone says it's incredible.
Oh, yeah. It's like a kind of
Nathan Fielder
setup.
Yeah, he kind of practices with people for real life situations. Like,
I'm not wild on Nathan Fielder, you know.
So, guys, if you haven't seen it, Nathan Fielder essentially practices with ordinary people, or rehearses, that's why it's called The Rehearsal, big moments in their lives. So he allows them to kind of get rid of their anxieties over something huge that's going to happen by literally role playing it as if it's real life again and again.
The whole thing is just a bit of a role play, isn't it? And I think that's why I'm not sure about it, because you can't quite tell whether the other people that aren't Nathan are like in on the joke or whether they have no idea about the actual setup of the show. I don't know. Not ready for me, that one.
Yeah, I think the press said it was like very boundary pushing.
People thought it was quite avant-garde.
Yeah.
I did like The Studio, Seth Rogen, but I didn't keep up with it. Didn't love it enough.
I fell
to
off
be
with
invested
that.
every week. Yeah.
Because there was no through. I mean, I know there was a through line, but it didn't feel like I had to watch the next episode.
Then recently we talked about Wild Cherry, which was billed as the female Adolescence, and we decided that no, it wasn't the female Adolescence, but a trashy fun watch nonetheless.
Really enjoyed it though.
Kind of mother-daughter thriller.
Yeah, and Eve Bess is just so good.
Yeah, she is.
But we'd love to know what you will think.
I know. Have we done TV this year justice? Are there some shows that we've missed? Are there shows that you particularly loved that you think we need to get on for next year?
Yeah, what's your number one? What do you think was the best TV show of 2025?
And we'll allow you to choose from new shows and from returning seasons as well.
Yes. Let us know what you're excited about for 2026. For me, and I think for you, Kath, Industry Season 3 dropping on January the 11th.
That's out very soon. I'm looking forward to that.
So excited.
Okay, guys. Well, we are going to love you and leave you. We hope you have amazing, amazing Christmases, whatever you are up to. We will be back here, same time, same place as this week, next week. So we're dropping on the Tuesday. We then will be back as usual in January with our pop culture debriefs. We have had the best year. We're so grateful to you guys for supporting the show. And we love you so much.
Love you so much, guys. So next week will be best books of 2025. And please just do support the show by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts, a rating on Spotify. You can DM us at Straight Up Pod on Instagram, or you can email us at hello@straightuppodcast.co.uk.
Yes, guys, beyond your recommendations, we'd love to hear what you've been up to over the Christmas holes. Have you been working? Have you had a bit of time off? We want to know how you've all been spending this couple of weeks. We hope these best of compilations are helpful. We hope we're giving you lots of fodder for chilling out on the sofa, watching TV. I know that's what I want to be doing over the next week or so. Looking forward to coming back in the new year with the show, of course. But for now, should we just go and be slugs on the sofa, chill out, and live our lives?
Let's do that, babe. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. See you next week.